Look at all these Muppets. Sometimes I don't know if I can blame these people because they're probably just...
Два, три! Ура! Ура! Ура!
What the f***, Alter? So many young people, man. It's mostly young people, dude. Because maybe they are still, Is she crying, Alter? Jesus, man. This is hard to watch, man. This is hard to watch, dude. What is this?
Hello, welcome to the program. Within the past hour, Russian President Vladimir Putin has addressed a gathering in the Kremlin to announce the formal annexation of 4 Ukrainian regions. He said people had made their choice to adopt the regions.
Made their choice. This is literally like watching a cheap copy of the Third Reich, isn't it? It makes you kind of laugh, dude. These Ukrainians are, to me, they're fucking heroes, man. They're the biggest heroes of the 21st century, man. They deserve eternal respect. They will go down in history as great people, because we, as I say all the time, we live in a world right now where everybody talks. But Ukraine, these fucking men and women fighting there, they actually do something, man. They're fighting fascism in the fucking streets with bullets, sweat, and tears. There are no winners in war. Oh, they fucking are, man.
The declaration, made in the cavernous St. George Hall in the Kremlin Palace, follows a process portrayed as referendums in the Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson and Zaporizhia.
Yeah, man, you fucking
Following
Muppets.
the speech, the Russian-appointed heads of those 4 annexed regions signed documents confirming that they were joining.
I didn't know that Putin is so small. You think he has maybe the minority complex like fucking Napoleon?
President Putin said Moscow would work to increase security in the new regions.
You go ahead, man. You guys are getting encircled. That is the worst microphone ever. Can you hear the fucking translator, guys? The fuck?
Expression of will.
Thank you, Opta.
To Supreme
Great respect.
leader.
And no other way. This is the only way to peace. We'll
It's the only way to peace, man. We're literally watching a true fascist state. Like definition fascism. Fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, don't touch your boxer shorts, guys, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interest for the perceived good of the nation and race, and strong regulation of society and economy, man. Straight up fascist state, man, and the world should be far more hardcore towards this shit, man.
Provide the
Coincidence? What? Putin gave his speech annexing Donbass and southeastern Ukraine on the same day Hitler gave annexing speech of Sudetenland. No fucking way, man.
safe living for our people. This is the great
real?
liberation mission of our people.
Well, he also said that all the citizens in those regions now...
Russia has a law that lets them use nukes when this territory gets threatened. Go ahead and use nukes, dude. I'm a guy, go ahead and use nukes. You cannot fucking talk to terrorists, man. You can't fucking talk to Vladimir Putin's regime. If he wants to nuke, let's go ahead and nuke, man. And let's fucking destroy the planet for your small little ego, Vladimir Putin. Let's go fucking ahead, let's go. Luhansk and Donetsk are Ukrainian.
Kyiv. What is the response been there?
Anyone thinking differently is an appeaser and a collaborator.
Well, Tim, I think the Ukrainians will be rejecting the announcements that were made by President Putin. They say that
Crimea too, yeah. Crimea too.
That the so-called referendums that happened were a farce, and there is no legal implication in the announcements that were made by President Putin related to these 4 regions of Ukraine: Donetsk and Luhansk in the east, also Zaporizhia and Kherson in the south. We understand that there was a meeting of President Zelensky and the National Security and Defense Council, and the president has just released a statement saying that Ukraine is going to submit an application to join NATO. So that's the reaction that is...
How does one join NATO? How does that work? Does every member have to say yes? Yeah, right. Minimum requirements for NATO membership. New member must uphold democracy, including tolerating diversity. New members must be making progress towards a market economy. Military force must be under firm civilian control. They must be good neighbors and respect sovereignty. They must be working towards compatibility with NATO forces. I think Ukraine can easily get this done. I don't see anything that every NATO member has to say yes, but with Finland and Sweden, everybody had to say yes, right?
just.
But he must be under so much pressure. Viktor Orban, he must be under so much fucking pressure, man. Even he can't suck Putin dick anymore. Because all the money he would lose from the European Union will just destroy Hungary, man.
By Russia, a decision that is not going to be recognized by the Ukrainians, a decision that is not going to be recognized.
Should be not recognized by anyone in the fucking world.
I think the Ukrainians have been saying that this doesn't change their plans. They're going ahead with the counteroffensive to take back territory that's now under Russian occupation.
Been condemned.
Dude, imagine people don't do this enough because people are such idiots. Imagine Russia would have already won in Ukraine. Imagine everything would have went Russia's way. The West would just be fucking on the stasis right now. What happened in Ukraine? Oh no, that went so fast, man. We are lucky. We Westerners are lucky that Ukraine is so fucking brave fighting these motherfuckers back, man. Imagine a different scenario, man. Fucking imagine, dude, how strong this fascist regime will be right now. Ukraine, the biggest giga chat, man.
The White House, also from the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen.
May baby bless these heroes.
From Poland as well, and all of this comes at a time of increased peril for Russian forces quite close to Kharkiv, where we understand in the town of Lyman they are now practically encircled by Ukrainian forces.
Nice, fucking nice. I wonder what would happen if Lukashenko starts an invasion, man. I mean, at that point, the West has to fucking do something, right?
A few days now, because it seems that,
they gotta fucking call TommyKay. TommyKay, stop streaming. You're getting drafted, bitch. We need you to lead the Ginger Corps. You like in South Park, it only consists of gingers because the German government is really okay with losing male gingers.
Surrounded by Ukrainian forces, so this is a major city for the Russians because this is a key hub. Used by the Russians.
The Red Berets.
To resupply forces in the east of the country.
You know what I'm feeling? I really want to play some. I want to play some Hellhole. What's it called?
One of the regions that
Hell let loose, man. Hell let loose.
And if the Ukrainians
you feeling better? I feel a bit better. Yeah.
Retake this city, it is a major victory for them.
Russia is weakened by its geography. One would actually argue Russia is weakened by its fucking stupidity.
Other parts of the
Ukraine's getting the Encirclement Awards.
In the east of the country, and it is another major blow for the Russians in this area. Lyman was captured by the Russians in May after weeks of heavy fighting, and now it seems that the Ukrainians have managed to encircle this city with thousands.
I really hope in some years we have documentaries what exactly the Ukrainians did military-wise, doctrine-wise. That they were so successful, man. I really would like to see an in-depth documentary about that, man. It'd be very interesting. Thank you, Stacy.
Russian occupation.
None of these four regions are under full Russian control, and today there was a rocket attack, a missile attack in Zaporizhia, which killed 20 civilians. Significant loss of life. What more details do you have?
20 fucking civilians killed at a rocket attack, man. The government of Russia is literally under its definition a terrorist fucking group, dude. I often think about the Ukrainian army that they have to be so fucking careful not to do any mistakes, right? Because Russia is gonna use the media on that so much, man. But man, Russia needs to be fucking. The people responsible, not the Russian people, the people responsible need to get fucking destroyed.
People were killed, more than 50 injured as
50 injured, 25 dead, civilians.
Attack by Russia.
Scum of the earth, man. If this would happen anywhere more west, man, we would all go to fucking war. You and me would be fucking drafted right now.
A gathering point was hit in Zaporizhia.
Thank you, Tris.
There was a convoy with dozens of cars apparently waiting to get access to Russian-controlled territory. And I've been to Zaporizhia a number of times, and there are a number of those gathering points there for people leaving areas under Russian occupation, but also people trying to get access to those areas to
25 civilians get fucking killed by a rocket, and people go to a fucking concert celebrating this shit.
To those towns and villages in
this is what Germany must have felt like 1946,
knows
dude.
The locations of those places, so it's hard to believe that
Ukraine joins NATO, blah 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 blah. Ukraine joining NATO will actually, even if it works, will take many years, probably long process. And yeah, then article, what's that article that a NATO member's under attack, but the West will never take that risk. The West is still very pussy and appeasing, and never wants to go too far.
Again,
Article 5, yeah.
The authority saying that
and the West also doesn't seem ready for an all-out World War III, right? I mean, look at Germany. Germany has no fucking army. German army is a fucking joke. And it's really time that the German government gets its fucking some fire on this ass and starts reforming this goddamn army, man. Because it's crystal clear we still have fascist fucking dictators trying to destroy world peace, and we gotta get ready to fucking defend ourselves. Especially a country like Germany that brought so much pain and suffering in 2 world wars, especially World War II, now has the responsibility to show the world that Germany is now part of the West. We're not fucking Nazi Germany anymore, we're now Western Germany, and we're ready to fight the fascists wherever they pop up in the next decades, man.
He's saying is that this is how Russia is responding to...
I'm a German, but I want peace. The problem is a lot of people want peace. A lot of people don't want war. But in reality, in the real reality of the universe, I think what you have to understand is that that's unfortunately not how the world works. You might want peace. You might want to appease. You might want everything to be normal. But certain people, in this case Vladimir Putin, want to destroy that dream you have. They are threatening that dream. And unfortunately, even pacifist people, man, nobody wants war. Anyone who has a brain doesn't want war. But you gotta be ready to defend yourself against the armies of Mordor and Sauron and fucking Barad-dûr, aka Moscow. That is unfortunately the truth of life.
Military defeats on the battlefield by attacking civilian infrastructure and also attacking civilian targets. And they say that
if you want peace, you have to prepare for war.
President Zelensky calling it a cynical attack by Russia, saying that Russia was a terrorist country, again reacting to this attack.
Prepare for war if you want peace. Total war one.
Keith, thank you very much indeed. Well, all this comes at a time of mobilization of forces in Russia. I will say President Putin in the last few minutes has said that he would ease restrictions or citizenship.
We also have a new Ukraine war video, yeah, 30 minutes.
Who wish to join the Russian army. Let's get more on this with Sarah Rainsford, our Eastern European.
And I gotta say, I was very wrong with that stuff. As I was growing up, man, I was this young, open-thinking guy, and I was like, militaries are bad. We should abandon militaries. But my God, was I wrong? And it's you can't be wrong in life, man. That's what it means to be human. I was very wrong. You need a military to suppress notions of tyranny, man. You need a military, unfortunately.
As well.
That's what I learned in the last year.
That is interesting as well, isn't it, in terms of the time of mobilization and Russia under pressure at a time of this annexation.
Yes, definitely. This is a kind of two-pronged thing. You know, Russia is annexing these territories, grabbing a massive chunk of Ukrainian land, or at least saying that that's what it's done, and it's also mobilizing at the same time. So I think, you know, this is clearly in response to what's happening on the ground in Ukraine, the military situation on the ground. These referendums had been planned. You know, this was always Russia's plan, but it was going to be at a different point. It wasn't supposed to happen when this land, this territory was still partially and in 2 regions very substantially occupied by Ukrainian forces. So this is happening in a rush. It's a mess. And also, of course, now to the soldiers who are going to go and have to fight for that mess. You know, they need to understand what they're fighting and potentially dying for. So this was his chance to set out his case. And I have to say, it wasn't entirely compelling. I mean, it was a long, long list of complaints, particularly about the West. This sees them as absolutely fundamentally hostile, and that he is ultimately at war with the West. But in terms of how people in Ukraine,
this guy will go down in history as the biggest villain of the 21st century, man.
In Ukraine, are they fighting to protect Russian speakers? What exactly are they doing there, and how committed really are they to that?
Tens of thousands of Russians of fighting age have left in the past few weeks, but how divided is Russia itself over this war? Still described, actually, as a special military.
I have to go to Warsaw next. Are you ready?
It's difficult to know because, of course, polling is difficult in a essentially authoritarian regime. People don't necessarily answer honestly. But I would say, you know, there is obviously support for what Vladimir Putin has called this special military operation.
I'm thinking about this sometimes, right? I'm a young man with a fucking girl and a young baby, man. But if a World War III will really be triggered, and the West is generally under attack by Russia and the threat of nukes, and Germany will call its reserves, I think I will take the call. I think I could be lying here. I could be an idiot. I could, you know, I don't think it's shameful to run away like all these Russians are. Because, man, I have a kid, man. I don't want this kid to be, you know. But I think the question about do you want to be drafted or not is, are you going into a just war and an unjust war? For example, when I was in the army, they offered everyone to sign a contract to be a soldier for 4 years and go to Afghanistan. I would never do that. Afghanistan never did anything to me. That's not a real war. That's fucking bullshit, man. That's Americans trying to do their fucking imperialism, man. But literally, your home being under attack, your family being threatened by fucking rockets and nukes, I think that's a very just war. And I feel like, but obviously it's very easy for me to say, I could be lying here. I think I would gladly take the call, gladly walk into the fucking German barracks and be like, let's fucking do this, man. Let's do better what our great grandfathers who were Nazi soldiers unfortunately didn't do. Let's be on the right side of war and let's fight for justice against this evil man.
We've seen protests. It's very, very
and get some fucking blood for the blood god, you know?
In Russia, but
Thank you,
try to do what they can.
I would not defend my own country.
Massive people in the middle who may be passively supporting the war, but primarily they just try to stay out of it. And now it's that mass in the middle who are being drawn into what's going on in Ukraine. Those people who basically did a deal with Putin, a silent deal, an unwritten deal that we'll stay out of politics, we'll keep out of it, we're not interested so long as our lives are stable, so long as we can basically earn a living and go about our business. He's broken that contract now because he's drawn them into this war, and that is actually a very interesting point.
Yeah, he broke a lot of contracts, man. Sometimes, for example, my brother, which was very sad, man, my brother said the Ukrainians deserve this war because they didn't apply to the Minsk agreement. Well, unfortunately, my brother never did his research how many contracts, for example, also the Minsk agreement itself has been broken by Russia itself, man, and it's obviously showing that Russia doesn't give any fucking care about any bureaucracy or deals with the West, man, and that argument is just ridiculous, dude.